Hello, humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. Guys, there are pieces of trash. And there are pieces of trash. I hope everybody's doing well. Guys, this is for your entertainment only. I'm going to give you some business opinions. But most of all, this is going to be performative art. You know why? Because we're dealing with some really big companies here. And I want you to have a good time while I'm taking one Joseph Cross out to the woodshed and spanking him because he is a complete failure at his job. Absolute failure. This is inexcusable. He is the art director, sir. You should be gone. If you had any self-respect, you would resign. Now, what are we talking about here? All right, so Marathon has some artwork, right, that has been taken from somebody. And this artist is Anti-Real, who posted several comparisons, of course. It turns out that not only him, but other people within the company were following her quite disgustingly, taking quote-unquote inspiration from her work and then getting lifts from the images. All right, let me tell you here's her statement. Bungie is, of course, not obligated to hire me when making a game that draws overwhelmingly from the same design language I have refined for the last decade, but clearly my work was good enough to pillage for ideas and plaster all over their game without pay or attribution, which is quite disgusting. All these, what should I call them? What name should you call these people? All these SOBs were getting paid on this woman's work who hasn't made any money on these drawings in the last 10 years. No real money. While these guys are making six-figure salaries while ripping her off. Right? And who is at the head of that? Who is at the head of that? These are her designs. Right? These guys have been following her forever on X, Twitter, whatever. Okay? Now look at this. A lot of inspiration, man. A lot of inspiration, Joseph. This is her postings here. You can see the similarities, right? And this comes down to one Joseph Cross, franchise art director for Marathon and Bungie. Now, let me tell you guys, Bungie, if you want to hire me, I'd be more than glad to state the obvious for anybody out there. Now, guys, you're going to watch videos out there that are just going to be like, oh, they did this and that and the other. No, it goes quite deeper than this. Quite a lot deeper than this. Let's take a business analysis here, right? We don't know all the story on here, but we know that we've had more than one issue with the same company doing the same thing over and over again. And I don't know how Joseph Cross still has a job. I don't know what's going on with Bungie. What are you guys doing over there? Why does this keep on happening? Don't you guys have DAM over there? Damn. Right? So let's break it down, guys. From a business point of view, right? Let's get really excited here and deliver some justice to these guys that just think they're going to issue an apology and give her some 10 cents on the dollar. If this person had any means whatsoever, they would sue the living crap out of this company. I'm surprised that a lawyer hasn't called her at this point. This is so egregious. Why is there a lack of a centralized digital asset management over there? Why is there? Right? If they were hiring me, I'd go in there and I'd start auditing the whole process, and without even going on, because this has happened more than once, I can tell you that's not in place. There's an adequate legal oversight doing the asset integration, obviously. You don't have to be a lawyer to see that. If they're lifting items, and this whole thing that it was a prior employee. No, when you have a system in place that you're supposed to follow, when your company is set up with processes that everybody follows, it doesn't matter who goes in and out. It doesn't matter how many employees are hired and fired, because everybody's trained to the process. Apparently not at Bungie, right? Apparently nobody's getting held accountable over there. When those kind of things happen, it's obvious there's insufficient training and accountability for creative staff regarding copyright law or licensing law. They have no clue what they're doing. And they think they can just blame anybody. Oh, it was the other guy. It was the other guy. These excuses that these YouTubers have that, oh no, if somebody leaves, how they're supposed to know that? No, there's a system in place. When you run a company this big, when your parent company is Sony, right? There's processes in place that you're supposed to follow. And obviously, somebody here is not caring, right? There's poor functional communication between creative people and their, QA teams, whatever that is, if they even exist. Because at this point, it doesn't seem like anybody's following anything, right? If you would just take a simple, right? If these companies are just following a simple ISO process, guys, and I'm going to get technical here, but it doesn't matter because it's quite relevant. A company this big should have established processes that they should follow so these kind of things don't happen. It's not like these guys are in a garage, making these games. They're not. They work for a large company, right? Why is the workflow, asset sourcing, and integration, processes not followed? That would be my question, right? If I'm going in as the auditor, right? Where's the risk-based thinking on this? I mean, this is business 101, guys. Risk-based thinking. The risk of using unlicensed third-party content was not identified or mitigated at all. And this thing, I'm telling you that, it was somebody that used to work. It doesn't matter who works there. Everybody's supposed to follow the process. I'm pretty sure Sony's got internal statutes to this, internal clauses within their work instructions. Why was there no traceable documentation proving ownership of the license or the assets that you're putting up there? Why? Right? These are normal clauses in any ISO or any standard. Because you have to have control condition, because you have to have documented information. And then, once identified, the non-conforming asset was not flagged in a system record. It had to be pointed out to you. Right? This company is reactive, not systematic. They wait to get caught and then they do something. That's not the way working to a standard works, guys. Your processes are supposed to catch this. Are you going to miss some? Yes. But this many in this short period of time? No. If I'm an auditor, right, and I don't know what the case is in this company, I don't know all the excuses, right? But any normal person working in business doing this kind of audit, looking at these kind of IP internal violations, is going, this is incompetence. There's no evidence that suggests that any previous IP violations led to any substantial corrective measures, because here we go again. We're in the same crap again. And this whole BS notion that you're going to, put it solely on a former employee fails to address your governance issues. What you have at play, the system at Bungie. Bungie, what the hell is going on? What's wrong with your company that you can't follow simple processes? What's wrong at Bungie that you can't do an audit? I mean, just look at this thing. I mean, I don't know the structure of Bungie, right? I'm just, looking at it from afar. I'm looking at all these quality assurance issues that are obvious to anybody. You have the art director, the lead, that follows the artist that whom the art was lifted from. That's inexcusable. He failed to verify the originality, and you expect me to believe that he didn't know? Any layperson out there could smell this BS. Right? This guy's so full of shit, his eyes are turning brown. Where's the asset manager on this? Where's the dam administrator? They did not ensure proper tagging of this material or documentation of assets. Where's the legal IP counsel? Do they even call it? Do they even have any? I'm sure Bungie has enough money. I'm sure Sony has enough money. What the hell happened? Who's the QA lead over there? Who's not doing their job? Let me go in and start slicing some bacon off. Get some people that actually want to work. It is a crime what has happened to Bungie. Executive producer, where you at? Where's the studio leadership? Responsible for ensuring compliance, where are you at? Nowhere to be found, right? And they just want to apologize and not take any real accountability. Guys, let me tell you, people need to lose their jobs for this. In any normal setting, somebody would go in there and get a new art director, new asset manager, verify their legal IP counsel, get a new QA lead, because apparently they either don't have one or they're being pressured to stamp anything off, and have an executive producer supervising the whole thing. Clearly what they have now is not working. Right? They don't have a comprehensive asset approval process. Right? These would be part of any typical corrective action for something like this. Ensure that you have a centralized digital asset management. Guys, I'm giving free consulting here as comedy. Have a mandatory IP compliance training for everybody. Everybody. That's standard, guys. This is not, I'm not saying something that nobody knows. This is not something innovative. This is something you learn at school. Jesus. Internal audits, non-existing, obviously. There's no root cause analysis. Oh, we went back and we did this. Even the way this guy speaks tells me he has absolutely no background in any type of corrective actions in root cause analysis. He doesn't. He said, we're going to work on this. Who's going to work on this? It's your responsibility. You should know. You're the head of this. Right? I mean, anybody, guys, anybody within, any distance of anything knows clause 10.2, right? If you're dealing with ISO. Board level oversight, right? Establish a compliance liaison somewhere at the board level now, because obviously you guys can't be trusted to make a game worth of crap. All right, let's wrap it all up. There's some free consulting for you. But if you want to hire me, hey, give me a call. I only take business class tickets, by the way, and no Southwest, no Frontier. I'm not doing any of that crap. Look, guys, the unauthorized use of an artist's work, like in Marathon, highlights the significant failure of this company that just keeps repeating. I don't know if they have any compliance systems that they're following in-house. And if their turnover is so big that they can't train people properly, well, I mean, you got a problem there. This game is trash. This game is gone. Who's going to buy this game knowing that the assets of some lady were stolen and they didn't pay her? Right? It's only through a culture of accountability that you can fix things like this. But Joseph Cross, it was your responsibility. It's happened more than once. Your ass needs to go. Guys, I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.